Bills Mafia, what's up? Before we dive into this massive breakdown of Bills Steelers, one of the most important games of our entire season, let me start with something Sean McDermott has been repeating inside the building all week. This team is working every day to improve, to tighten the screws, and to fight for the results that Buffalo deserves. The urgency is real, the preparation is intense, and as we push deeper into this playoff race, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. It helps us bring more exclusive Bills coverage straight to you. Guys, before we continue with today's Bills news, Cyber Weekend is live at Fanatics. Bills jerseys and hoodies are 30% off, but it ends fast and some sizes are already disappearing. Link below. Use code CYBER. Now let's get into this huge matchup and the storyline surrounding it. Sunday's showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers is more than just another game on the calendar. It's a meeting between two 2024 playoff teams who suddenly find themselves fighting for survival. The Bills sit at 7-4, trailing the surprising 9-2 New England Patriots in an AFC East race that Buffalo has owned since 2020. The Steelers are 6-5, losers of 4 of their last 6, a far cry from the hot 4-1 start that made them early season darlings. Two teams, two proud franchises, both desperate for a stabilizing win. And that's exactly why this matchup matters more than most fans realize. You don't need insider access to see it. Sean McDermott's team is on edge, not panicking, not defeated, but on the ropes, with the season now balancing on the next few weeks. Buffalo's defense has been bruised all year. The run-stopping issues have returned at the worst possible time. Combine that with undisciplined turnovers, costly penalties, and injuries at key spots, and you get a team that has gone from one of the league's cleanest operations to one of the sloppiest stretches of McDermott's career. Remember this, last season, the Bills tied an NFL record with only 8 turnovers in the entire year. 8 across 23 games, including playoffs. Now, 15 turnovers in the last 8 games, and 11, yes, 11 of those are from Josh Allen. That shift is massive. That shift is alarming. That shift is putting the Bills in must-clean-up mode. And as if that weren't enough, the Bills will enter Pittsburgh without their 2 starting tackles, Dion Dawkins and Spencer Brown. Against T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and emerging pass rusher Nick Herbig, who have a combined 19 sacks, 43 QB hits, 6 forced fumbles, and a defensive touchdown. This is Buffalo's toughest trench challenge of the season, and it's happening while the team is already backed into a corner. Bills Mafia, here's the good news. Buffalo has owned the series recently. 4-1 in their last 5 meetings, including the 31-17 playoff win in 2023 and their last trip to Pittsburgh 2019, which ended in a gritty 17-10 Bills victory on Sunday Night Football. But let's not forget what happened before this recent run. The Steelers dominated the Bills for 6 straight games from 2001 to 2016. When these teams meet, weird things happen. Ugly football, defensive slugfests, unexpected heroes, and with both teams fighting for a playoff spot, expect the same vibe. As mentioned earlier, McDermott's team went from 8 turnovers in 23 games to 15 in the last 8. That's not just a slump, that's an identity shift. Josh Allen's decision-making has been up and down, and last week's performance versus the Texans highlighted exactly why this is such a concern heading into Pittsburgh. Allen threw 2 interceptions, one of which would have been a pick 6 until a penalty saved the play. Let's talk about that incident because the NFL made its final ruling, and it matters. In last week's loss to Houston, Allen was picked off by rookie safety Callan Bullock. Bullock returned it for a touchdown, but the score didn't count. Why? The Texans' defensive end Derek Barnett delivered a blindside block on Dawson Knox during the return. Blindside blocks can draw huge fines, $17,389 for a first offense, $23,186 for a second offense. The referees flagged the play immediately. The NFL reviewed it, and on Saturday, the NFL officially announced no fine for Derek Barnett. His name was not included in the league's game day accountability report. Barnett has been fined 4 times in his career for over $60,000 total, but this one gets wiped clean. How does this affect Buffalo? Not much in the standings, but it highlights how razor-thin the margins are. One penalty saved a pick six. One drive that could have buried the Bills turned into a field goal instead. This team is living on a knife's edge right now. Here's where things get interesting. Mike Tomlin is known for defense. He's built his reputation on it. But in 2024, his unit has been shockingly inconsistent. Entering Week 13, the Steelers ranked 5th most yards allowed per game, have given up 30-plus points 5 times, and allow 31 points per game in losses. This defense can be shredded, especially on the ground. And guess who entered Week 13 with the #1 rushing offense in the NFL? Your Buffalo Bills. 147.2 rushing yards per game, 20 rushing touchdowns, led by Josh Allen, 10 TDs, and James Cook, 8 TDs. Even without Dawkins and Brown, Buffalo has to lean on the run game to slow down Watt and the Steelers' pass rush. If the Bills dominate on the ground, they win. If the Steelers force Allen into hero ball mode, watch out. A win keeps Buffalo firmly in the wildcard race and within striking distance of the Patriots. A loss drops the Bills to 7-5, drops their conference record to 4-8, complicates every remaining tiebreaker, and suddenly the playoff odds start dipping. This isn't just another game. This is a turning point. Everyone wants to talk about Josh Allen, and rightfully so, but this Sunday, all signs are pointing to something different. This game, this atmosphere, these conditions, it's shaping up to be a James Cook game. You heard that right. Not because the Bills want to take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands, but because circumstances are lining up in a way that may force Buffalo to rely on their rising star running back more than usual. Let's lay out the situation. First, the obvious. Both Bills' starting offensive tackles are out. When you're missing both ends of your line, especially against a Steelers front that still knows how to generate pressure, you must adjust. You can't just drop Josh Allen back 40 times and hope he escapes chaos all afternoon. That's how games get sloppy. That's how turnovers happen. That's how seasons derail. And Sean McDermott and Joe Brady know that. So what do? You stabilize the offense, you slow the game down, and you put the ball in the hands of James Cook. Second, the field conditions. We're looking at likely terrible footing, an ugly playing surface, and the possibility of precipitation. You know what that means? The pretty, finesse passing game? Yeah, not so much. This is a run the ball, protect the football, control the clock type of matchup. In the elements, even the most elite quarterbacks sometimes need the run game to take center stage, and that's where James Cook comes in. Here's the part Bills fans really need to hear. Pittsburgh's run defense has been falling apart. Over the last few weeks, they've been gashed, and not by star running backs, but by rotational players and rookies. Let's look at the receipts. Kamani Vidal ran for 95 yards in Week 10. Chase Brown followed it up with 99 yards in Week 11. And with all due respect, James Cook is simply better than both of those guys at this stage. Cook is faster, more explosive, more versatile, and has been improving each week in reading blocks and hitting lanes with confidence. Even if Buffalo is banged up at tackle, the Steelers have their own issues. Major ones, actually. This is the big one. Rookie defensive tackle Derek Harmon, one of the Steelers' most important run defenders, is out with a neck injury. And let me tell you something, Bills Mafia, the numbers do not lie about how much this impacts Pittsburgh. He missed the first 2 games of the season, and look what happened. The Jets ran for 182 yards. The Seahawks ran for 117 yards. Both totals were well above Pittsburgh's season average of 105.7 yards allowed per game. When Harmon doesn't play, that defensive front changes dramatically. He's physical, he fills gaps, he clogs lanes, he keeps linebackers clean. And now he's gone, right when James Cook is surging. This is the perfect storm for Buffalo. Let's talk about Cook himself. He's coming off some of the sharpest football of his young career.
His vision has improved, his burst is undeniable, and his ability to catch passes out of the backfield gives the Bills' offense a dynamic weapon the Steelers must account for. And here's the thing. When the Bills commit to using Cook early and often, it opens up the entire playbook. Play action becomes more dangerous. Bootlegs become more effective. Defenses start creeping down, respecting the run. And that's when Josh Allen can take shots. This isn't about taking the ball away from your superstar quarterback. It's about complementing him, especially when the elements, injuries, and matchups all point toward a heavy ground approach. Bills Mafia, let's be real. Buffalo cannot afford a misstep in this AFC playoff chase. They are right in the thick of it, and every game from here on out feels like a postseason elimination matchup. And games like this, against a struggling run defense, against a team missing key interior defenders, in cold, sloppy weather, these are the types of games you win by controlling the clock, avoiding turnovers, imposing your physicality, and leaning on your run game. James Cook doesn't just fit the game plan, he is the game plan. And if he delivers, this could be one of those late-season performances we look back on as the moment the Bills stabilized their offense and kept their postseason hopes alive. Buffalo is beat up, inconsistent, and playing with fire in the turnover department. Pittsburgh is unpredictable, explosive on defense, and fighting for their own identity. Two desperate teams, two elite quarterbacks, one game that could tilt the AFC playoff race overnight. So here's my question for you, Bills Mafia. Do you believe the Bills will rise in this must-win moment? Or do the turnover issues and injuries worry you heading into Pittsburgh? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear every opinion, every prediction, every concern. And before you go, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest Bills news, breakdowns, and exclusive updates. Bills Mafia, before you go, Cyber Weekend is live. Bills jerseys, hoodies, and sideline gear are 30% off today only. Sizes are selling out fast. Link in the description and comment, use code CYBER. We're in this playoff push together. Let's go Buffalo.